Roberto Marinho, a Brazilian tech magnate, lost his wallet full of money in a poor neighborhood during a trip with his daughter. When a street boy found it and returned it intact, he asked for an unusual reward, which made the experienced billionaire and his daughter burst into tears. Roberto was on a ferry, returning from a sightseeing trip to Miami, Florida, when he realized his wallet was no longer in his pocket. Roberto was a wealthy and influential man, having been featured in Forbes years before. Besides being part of Brazil's elite super-rich, Marinho was also a prominent philanthropist. Since the 1990s, he had invested in large tech startups while also raising substantial amounts of money to provide education, technology, and medical care to those in need. That day, the billionaire was visiting a tourist attraction on the east coast of the United States, accompanied by his daughter Sophia, who had just turned 18. She had visited the country with her father a few times, but had never stayed long enough to see everything she wanted. Upon reaching adulthood, she asked to celebrate her birthday abroad. Her father took a week off to accompany her. The magnate called one of his friends, a manager of a luxurious hotel chain in Miami, and emphasized the importance of the occasion. The man, at the businessman's request, organized the entire trip for Sophia as if it were for his own daughter. Father and daughter had been enjoying their time in the United States for 3 days. They had visited several landmarks and were now in Miami, where they had just visited a popular tourist island. Despite being a valued destination in the region, the island had a poor neighborhood with a large immigrant community, and Marinho wanted to explore its streets and inhabitants. Sophia didn't appreciate that her father included the visit to this place during her birthday, as she had no interest in poor neighborhoods, but she endured it out of respect for her father. They had completed one of the tours and were returning to the city. It was only when the ferry was near the port that Roberto noticed his wallet was missing. He searched his pockets, asked if his daughter had seen it, and looked around. Sophia asked for his last recollection of the wallet, and Roberto said he had only used his money on the island when he visited the poor neighborhood and bought a souvenir from the place. "I knew it. I told you we shouldn't go there." "Dad, of course, you were robbed," protested Sophia. Roberto corrected his daughter, as he didn't know if that had really happened. After all, he could have lost the wallet somewhere, including on that boat full of tourists from all over the world. Sophia then responded, "Look at the people around us. They would have returned it if they had found it, don't you think?" Roberto only said he hoped whoever found it would contact and return it. Sophia didn't know, but soon that would have a significant impact on her life. 2 hours had passed, and Roberto and his daughter returned to the hotel, with no sign that anyone had found his wallet. The tourist boat staff had searched everywhere but found nothing. They were anxious, as the billionaire could even sue the company. But no one showed more restlessness than Sophia Marinho, the daughter of that powerful man. She knew that besides the money, there were several credit cards in her father's wallet that were absolutely necessary for her much-dreamed-of birthday celebration. Nervously, Sophia insisted that her father had been robbed while they were on the island. "Don't you see these people use you? You went to that poor neighborhood with so much goodwill that they made a fool out of you. And right on my birthday trip, you take me to a slum? Look what we got from that." Roberto took a deep breath and said he loved Sophia, but she had to learn more about life. She was reaching adulthood, but still had much to experience. "Do you think life has always been good and easy for me? I've been on the other side," said the philanthropist. He reminded her that he was born in a poor neighborhood in Sao Paulo. His mother was a cook and his father a tailor. At 14, Roberto started working in a tech shop in the capital to help with household expenses. He could only study what he wanted when he was 24, by which time he had a supervisory position in the shop. He told his daughter that he had to endure many hardships from bosses and customers to reach that position and had taken many buses to get to work every day, sometimes unable to even have breakfast. Other times, he had to skip lunch. But things had worked out for him in the end. "I was lucky, you know." "Luck can also change a life," said Marinho. He recalled when he met his wife, Sophia's mother, at the end of college, and how she died of tuberculosis. Even though he was a very rich man, nothing money could buy was enough to save his wife from the disease. It was a severe blow to his life, but also a reminder to remain humble. It was after this sad episode, when Sophia was just 3 years old, that Roberto Marinho also became known as a philanthropist. Although the birthday plans had been hampered, At least he and Sophia could be safe in the comfort of a five-star hotel, which had been paid for a month in advance, a privilege for few people in this world, he reminded. His daughter listened in silence. The next day, the billionaire's phone rang. It was a number he didn't recognize. When he answered, the person on the other end said they had his wallet and gave an address a bit far from the tourist area. Sophia, overhearing the conversation, immediately protested. "Dad, think about it. It could be a scam or a trap. Who guarantees they really found your wallet?" Roberto replied that there would be no problem. The caller had a child's voice and seemed trustworthy. Sophia then called the security guard who escorted them whenever necessary and explained what was happening. The security guard soon arrived and tried to make his boss desist from going to that location, but Roberto simply responded that he would trust his intuition, seeking his wallet to continue the celebrations the trip promised. And so, the three left the luxury hotel and headed toward the nearby avenue. As the security guard drove down the avenue, they left the tourist area and arrived in a much more modest and dimly lit neighborhood. Sophia was scared. Her birthday had turned into a dangerous adventure. Every passing motorcycle made her heart race. When they stopped at a traffic light, she became tense and still, watching the vehicles around, as if expecting them to point a gun at them. Having a security guard along didn't make the girl feel any safer. That place was very strange. Roberto, on the other hand, felt no fear. Somehow, that place reminded him of his youth. Sophia couldn't understand how her father could be so relaxed. After all, it wasn't just his safety at stake, but hers too. Finally, they arrived at the indicated location, in an area full of very simple houses. Following protocol, the security guard went ahead to check the place. As they approached, they saw a very humble boy coming toward them. He had a wallet in his small hands. Roberto immediately saw that it was indeed his wallet, and upon opening it, saw that all his documents, cards, and money were there. Not a single cent was missing. The boy could be no more than 8 years old. He had bright eyes and wore worn and dirty clothes. The billionaire then thanked the boy for returning his wallet. "Boy, you saved me from many headaches." "Thank you," he said. The boy took advantage of the well-dressed man's sympathy and asked if he could give him $2. Hearing this, Sophia became extremely nervous and said, "See, I told you. Good thing we brought the security guard. Just give him the money before his accomplices show up, and let's get out of here." The boy was embarrassed by Sophia's reaction and explained, "It's not like that, miss. It's just that my mom doesn't have a phone, so I had to use the only money I had to call Mr. Roberto from a public phone. I spent the whole day asking for money on the street, but I didn't get much. So, I used the money I was saving to buy a small cake for my sister. Tomorrow is her birthday." Roberto was interested in the story and asked him to tell more. The boy said his name was Carlos and that he didn't remember much of his past and how he had lived his first years. He hadn't known his father and had been living on the streets with his mother and sister for over a year. A few blocks away, there was a bridge where several homeless people gathered to spend the night, and that's where they took shelter. Carlos recalled when they still lived in a small house, and his mother made a cake to celebrate his birthday. It was the only party the boy had ever had. The cake was small, and only his mother and younger sister were there to sing happy birthday. That was the happiest memory he had. Now, even though they had been evicted, he wanted to ensure his sister felt the same happiness. So, Carlos was asking for money on the street to try to buy a cake for his sister. Sophia couldn't hold back the tears. The girl, who had been scared of that place and suspicious of the boy's intentions, now felt ashamed of having made such hasty judgments. To make matters more emotional, Carlos's sister's birthday was the same day as hers. Surprising everyone, Sophia handed a card from the luxury hotel where she was staying to Carlos, telling him, his mother, and sister to go there the next day. She asked her father's permission and took $300 bills from his wallet, handing them to the boy. "Carlos, use this money to buy new clothes for you and your family. Otherwise, unfortunately, you won't even be able to reach the hotel's reception," advised Sophia. The boy was very grateful, and then everyone said goodbye. On the way back, Marinho asked the security guard to take them to the restaurant he had reserved for lunch with his daughter. But she interrupted him and asked to return directly to the hotel. "What happened?" the father wanted to know. What we would spend at that restaurant in one day could feed Carlos's family for a month. Let's just go back to the hotel, and we'll order a pizza while we plan what to do tomorrow, okay? Roberto agreed. He turned and looked proudly at his daughter. His years as a philanthropist seemed to have finally had a positive effect on her. The next day, early in the morning, Carlos, his sister Lucia, and their mother Maria went to a clothing store. They left with brand new clothes, feeling very good. The money Sofia had given was enough not only to buy clothes, but also to help them buy food and share it with other homeless people living in the same place. Roberto asked one of his drivers to pick up Carlos and his family. When they arrived at the location and realized it was a 5-star hotel, they were shy. Carlos's mother had always dreamed of visiting such a place, and now that she was there, she didn't know how to act. Upon entering the lobby, a receptionist directed the family to a garden with green grass and a table decorated with flowers and colorful ornaments. Carlos's sister said it was the most beautiful place she had ever seen. Her eyes sparkled. Sofia then appeared. "It's all for you, Lucia." The girl was extremely happy. Roberto had asked his friend, the hotel manager, to invite all the families staying with children to a birthday party. Many of them went to the garden to run and play with Carlos and his sister Lucia. Sofia was as happy as the children. For the first time, she understood how her father felt when helping people. Carlos and Lucia tasted brigadeiros for the first time and enjoyed a huge chocolate cake. Maria was moved by it all and received a hug from Sofia, who was also trying to hold back tears on her first day as an 18-year-old. Roberto knew that a birthday party wouldn't be enough to help that family. So he took Maria to his friend, the hotel manager. The billionaire explained that he was very surprised to see that her son had returned the wallet in the same condition he had lost it, despite the hardships they faced, and that if her son had such integrity, it could only be a reflection of a good upbringing. "Congratulations on your integrity," said the manager. He also said that perhaps he could help her. "Recently, I discovered that the head of housekeeping was involved in a small theft scheme within the hotel. She and 2 employees were stealing items from our foreign guests, and they only noticed when they returned to their countries. So, after identifying those involved, I fired them all, and now we need to renew the team, which should be led by a person of integrity and great trust. Mrs. Maria, I don't know if it was just luck or something more, but when your son returned that wallet intact, he changed the fate of your entire family. If you want, I would like the position of head housekeeper to be yours." "What do you think?" said the manager. Maria was emotional. She had never dreamed of setting foot in such a hotel, and now she was seeing not only a party for her daughter but also receiving a job offer. Embarrassed, she said she didn't know if she had the competence for the position, and the manager promptly responded, "Don't worry, because the most important thing you already have: character and integrity." The following week, that family's life dawned differently. Carlos and Lucia took the bus to school. They had new clothes and school supplies. Maria took the bus to the city's waterfront, where she entered the 5-star hotel to start training for her new job. She felt like the luckiest woman in the world. Roberto and Sofia continued with the planned trip, but nothing brought the same happiness that Sofia had felt during the garden party at the hotel. She looked at her father and finally understood why he never contented himself with just being a millionaire. What truly fulfilled him was doing good for others. Now, she understood that. Dear viewers, thank you for watching. If you like this story, please subscribe to our channel to receive more stories every day. Share with us what you think of this story.